Matrix and carry for Falcons. Know what, Team Liquid Philippines? Go for either the Ling or the Lance.
Oh.
I want the Lance.
I want the Lance.
Give me the Lance, Liquid.
I love that. It's actually a hero that wins pretty well against a Hayabusa. You can kind of just iframe out a shadow kill. You can also just go ahead and take out that Zushin when you can.
Ini tim Falcon sama tim
TLPH.
TLPH itu apa ya?
Stand out at the very last.
And if ever there's a 1-1
Falcon
pick
di
coming,
FF juga
no,
ada.
there's no 1-1 pick
Yeah,
anymore. But regardless of whatever marksman decides to show up for Team Falcons, right? They'll have a way to access it easily, aside from the Farsa and the Granger, which are already plenty of range for Team Liquid Philippines. So they saved that hero for last. Like, be it the roamer or the jungler for Team Liquid Philippines, we aren't entirely sure just yet.
Yeah. All right, we already saw Rome Hilda before coming in from Team Liquid, but I think that is an XP laner for Sanford, most likely.
Most likely. Right? We keep saying this, but whenever we say that, there are just times where, it doesn't happen.
Falcon.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay open.
But with the picks right now, I feel like carry seems like a really good option against Raksha and a Hilda. Clint is not out of the picture just yet. But yeah, the both lanes are very hard right now.
Maybe Earthal, if Super Marco just wants to look at the matchup, plus it's going to be easier for him to avoid the feathered airstrike.
With the lane.
Yeah, because with the Beatrix and the carry, they're a little bit too slow.
Oh, what?
What? They still go Clint? Good call there, Rockhard, by the way.
Yeah, I really feel like you're right.
Oh.
I actually would have loved the airfield, but yeah, the Clint, even in the hands of Keller, has been really inefficient, I would say.
So
look
far,
at that lane that you mentioned as well.
Yeah. The best choices they could go for at that point, honestly, for Carl He was either the Ling or the Lancelot.
Yeah.
And even more so now with that last pick, Ling. Brigida, I feel like this Clint might have a hard time.
It will. It looks like it will. It has to consider the Farsa, it has to consider the Ling, and not just that, the Baksha just constantly trying to hunt him down. I mean, he does have some ability skills, but there are just countless of ways for Team Liquid Philippines to actually catch up.
So in the Clash of the Titans here in the panel, I think the Liquid Curly and Falcons are in agreement. Liquid won the draft.
Yep. Pretty much. Even I would agree with that one. 100%. Unless Super Marco can just pull off some really crazy stuff and make sure that his Clint stays relevant all throughout the game.
Yeah.
But then again, history has proven that's very difficult.
Yeah.
So let's throw it over to our Land of Dawn. See how Falcons figure it out.
Game 2 in this best of 7. First of the board is Liquid. Can Falcons, with their very specific draft, get on the board and equalize? At your service, my name is Leo here with Ingan and Brigida to bring you the action. If I may weigh in, I agree, on face value, Liquid won the draft, but Ingan, do you agree with me that these picks by Falcons, they're specific to them? Like, they know how to use these tools to get back into the series.
Yeah, not to mention, when Flap TZ started to use these some sort of the badangs, the ones that require a lot of highly mechanical skills, he would default to the bakshas, the glues, whenever he doesn't feel like it. So in this case, he can be the bridge for Super Marco to have his power spike early on and dish out the damage, despite the high mobility that TLPH has with their lineup.
Yeah, and part of me is starting to consider what happens if the team fights take too long. Like, what if they just run for more than a couple of seconds for both Team Falcons and Team Liquid Philippines, right? Like, it looks to me that Team Falcons, their lineup might actually be somehow built for that to some extent too.
That's what I'm saying. The picks that Falcons went into game number 2 with are picks that have low downtime, I like to call it. They're picks that, again, don't ultimately just rely on their ultimate. And it makes sense. Look at Falcons' stats all throughout season 15, right? They're number 1 in kills, number 1 in assists, and when it comes down to the late game, they are number 1 in Lord control, just second in total Lord kills. But again, when it comes down to those big dances, those team fights that last a while, Falcons, they let you know that they are here.
Yeah, one of the key reasons why is, of course, Ogwin is with his Badang again, signature of the Unigo cousins. And who can forget their game yesterday, the game-ending set that Ogwin had with the Badang that turned things around in their favor. Could happen now.
He said, there's 2 here, two, I got 2.
Oh, actually, especially now that I feel they'll have a lot more means to create that space, I mean, earlier it felt like they were mostly mid-range, so they always had to close in. But now I feel like there's a better distribution in terms of the positions we can expect from them to come from when the team fight actually happens later on.
Yep, better spatial coverage. When you're up front and personal, you got Ogwin. When you're at mid-range and you want to control where your opponents can go, you got Few doing this. Oh my lord, Sanji at half.
They're giving Sanji such a hard time right now. The Game 1 MVP even popped his Purify early on. So now Team Falcons resorting back to their control over the mid lane.
Yeah, and honestly, this is one of the biggest differences in game number 1. Team Liquid Philippines were always pressuring the mid lanes. They were always having an eye on either Few, on whatever you get to actually show yourself up in. And it can be the same with Sanford on the Hilda, but there's less, Final Slash, there's less surprise, there's less threat for him to get pick off.
Yeah, not to mention, oh, wait a minute though. Flapteezy here alongside Kyle Teasy will draw the first blood with a weak shadow kill onto Sanford.
Oh, Kyle Teasy coming up as well.
Kyle Teasy jumps in, Tempest of Blades onto Kyle Teasy, no shadow, so he might be able to take him down. That was a well worth the trade for Team Liquid Philippines, but again, Ogwin alongside Few, just right on cue, brings down JP.
Nothing comes for free. Falcons able to clap back, come out on top, 2-1.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned how Team Liquid Philippines, their fast rotations coming out of the EXP lane still might be one of their strengths. Team Falcons decide to focus on that lane first. And just when there was an immediate response from Carl Teasy, who would have expected that there could be enough ways for Flap to actually hold the two of them under that turret?
That's the beauty of the new glue. I was tinkering with it earlier this week, and I'm like, how is this legal? How is Muton already changing a very strong hero into a stronger hero? And that's why Liquid, they're always keeping their eyes on bottom lane, on XP.
Yeah, I mean, who could forget the performance of Kirk yesterday with the glue? Flawless KDA. So now if Flapteezy channels his inner Kirk, things could go well for Team Falcons as they start things off with this turtle. Sanford and JP providing a lot of vision here for Carl Teasy. Who's going to get the turtle first? Because Kyle Teasy just got zoned out, but he has a shadow. He might go in again. Here comes the Tempest of Blades now, and he's trying to go for more. First blood drawn again for Kyle Teasy onto Sanford. Make it two, because Owen picks up Carl Teasy as well, and they're not even done. Flapteezy with the spread. Few also. Owen was able to walk away, and JP, no, he got surrounded by three and lifted up by Few to feed off the kill to Kyle.
As the great Theo Womi Ignacio said, disgusting. What is Falcons doing with this lineup? Kyle Teasy with a steal!
What? Grand Theft Turtle for the young goat.
Falcons took too long. They were relishing in the victory, and then in comes Carl.
And to be fair, that was already one of the things we talked about. We saw it in action. The team fight took too long. Falcons were actually able to win it out. But it took too long that Carl Teasy, with a very short death timers that we have, was able to get back into that turtle pit and secure it for Team Liquid Philippines.
The ultimate opportunist. Much like Seth Rollins in Mania. He's coming to get it. That was turtle number one, folks. Turtle number one.
Blindsided them again, but still they were able to pick up 3 or 4 kills during that trade. So Team Falcon still has a 1.6k gold lead, and they're reverting back again to the control of the mid lane, because even Sanji's having a hard time today.
Yeah, and it's honestly interesting to see Team Liquid Philippines still try to go for the fights, go for the contests, even though we acknowledge the fact that it might take a little more time for them. They're on the Ling, and yes, it is an assassin. Yes, there is some early game presence, but the items are a necessity for you to feel the full threat of this hero.
I guess it's a blessing in disguise that Carl Teasy is who he is, and he always looks for these little advantages. It keeps Falcons' lead down to a manageable 1,000 and a half, and yeah, you can show face, but when you're up against Few, who's playing the way he is, I think that
Uy, sambil
Liquid
makan,
step in the
uy.
game and woke him up.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're going to look at the matchup between Flapteezy and Sanford pretty much, you cannot see that Sanford's freely roaming or being the secondary roamer right now.
He can't, as the Hilda, he can't. Oh, action in mid.
Action in mid. Kyle Teasy already popped the Wiggy Shadow kill. JP soaking up the damage, but Few comes in with the Lantern Flare. Flapteezy jumps in once again, and Sanford goes for the back, but Few has his Crimson Beacon. Kyle Teasy got stunned down, point blank shot right in the face as Owen brings him down.
Oh, they're still going. JP had Flap on him. Carl Teasy looking to Get some retribution.
Oh, Ogun had to pop his ultimate to delay the attack of TLPH. Seven of Blaze casted down by Carl TZ as they break down Ogun. That's one member down again for Team Falcons.
OHIP was too free, and Team Liquid Philippines had all quad shadows covered. So wherever Kyle TZ wanted to go for an escape, there was at least one member of Team Liquid Philippines ready to answer back. But phew!
What was that? How did Sanji... All right, it was off camera. Who knows what was in the vision of Sanji? He popped the Venom Strike for a snipe on Few.
You know, we were just talking
Oh,
about
ini Falcon
the lineup of
Philippine.
TLPH compared to game number 1. Lack
Sama
surprises
Falcon.
because they don't have the Franco, they don't have the Arlot. But Carl TZ surprised us with a solo turtle kill, but now Carl TZ with a Wiki Shadow kill. Sanji was able to win by wings. And just like that, also Sanji never fails to amaze us with a solo kill onto Few a while ago.
Not even using the Purify. So he's fully equipped for what may happen in this next objective, which clearly both of these teams are looking to set up for. Ogun and Flaptizi are already within the area, and so are JP and Sanford.
All right, we're back to equilibrium. Falcons can contest. Liquid stole the last one, but it looks like this has their name on it. Kyle Teasy spots Sanford.
Now we're seeing Sanford do his thing, zoning out Kyle TZ
Whoa.
to give enough space for Carl TZ for an uncontested turtle take. A while ago, before or after even the turtle steal of Carl TZ, Falcon was looking at the 1.6k gold lead, and now it's on the side of TLPH.
Exactly. It's the way the lead has shifted so fast. But now Team Falcons, they're trying to look for ways to regain it back. But it seems like this is just pure determination from Team Liquid Philippines. They're just not letting anything go through.
The Filipino sniper catching Few again.
Oh, and now Carl TZ on to Super Marco. He was able to dodge it out, but here comes the sun from JP. Even flickers in. Open with a counter, though. And Super Marco falls down. Here comes TLPH once again. And we can shadow kill cast
Tapi kalau segi dari permainan ya, Falcon lebih
and I
mendominasi
think
guys.
Flap TZ was able to grab onto JP. The clash will disperse here, but TLPH, they
Tapi
got
kata
2
juga kan,
kills.
kalau Mobile Legends kan nggak terlalu ini
Got
ya.
the stun, and now the counter from
Siapa yang menang, siapa yang kalah belum tentu. Kalau powernya belum
and
hancur.
a killing spree for our MVP. OM still knocking down turrets.
Done
Whoa.
yet.
Imagine that. It could have looked so good for Team Falcons. That was a beautiful fist break, or just the fist crack coming in from Ogun to capture Carl TZ and actually shut him down. But look at how Team Liquid Philippines decided to still proceed with the fight. But hold on, Few. Does he want to go for this?
Well, TZ with a defiant sword. Another stun from JP as he brings down Few. Ogun with a beautiful counter, though, as Sanford was able to flicker out Sanji again with a feathered airstrike to stop Team Falcons from extending further. And now TLPH are looking at the 3k gold lead. Almost all extended clashes favor them.
Only God knows when these teams will stop fighting. They will start and stop, and then maybe they'll make their minds and go for something. I think that's what mid was all about. Liquid went straight for that tier 1 up top when they said we had enough. And then they kept going.
Yeah, and it really feels like it's always been Team Liquid starting the fight. It's always them looking for all the fights to happen against Team Falcons, whereas we haven't seen any clear intention from Team Falcons just yet to be the ones first, where we haven't seen Ogun go in just yet with a flicker, fist break, fist crack combo to capture anyone. At most, it's probably Few, but earlier it felt like it was zoning.
Now Sanji cast a feathered airstrike, immediately bursted down Ogun. They're trying to go for a response with a Wiki Shadow kill, but JP just has that revitalize to save everyone. And Ogun falls down.
Like a herd of stallions, Liquid just clump
PLHP
whenever
negara
Kyle
mana sih, anjir?
presses the shadow kill. That's the third time that they've done this defensive maneuver.
Third time TLPH playing as one unit. And now taking full control of the game. 3.6k gold lead already. And look at the gold difference between the two gold leaders. Almost 1.5k.
That's a lot. We haven't seen the Clint really provide much for Team Falcons just yet, despite the presence of already the Endless Battle and the Malefic Roar. And JP has already built the Radiant Armor and the Dreadnought, so he's pretty much able to tank a lot of the damage that will come in from Falcons, because mostly those who are going to go up front are Flap and Few. And now that's just all the more reason for Team Falcons to carefully consider what they're doing next.
Team Falcons, I don't know if they're considering even a contest. In my books, I wouldn't. You're down 4K. Liquid has full control of the pit. JP gets caught here.
Oh, they're gonna look for a trade. So, Gwen shuts down OHEB, but Phil gets the Lord. The collapse of TOPH started out by Ogwin. JP with a grab, and now Flapteasy fins off the kill to Super Marco.
Technically, they didn't contest. They just went straight for the turn.
It was a beautiful call from Master Ogwin. Seeing how grouped up together Team Liquid Philippines was and looking for the right targets, both JP and OHEB, but more so on OHEB. Them being able to take him out meant a lot for Team Falcons.
Now they transition to a mid lane turret takedown. Lord up top, Carlteasy waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Sanji with a feathered airstrike, he goes in the middle. Tempest of Blades cast it down as Owen has been shut down. JP chasing after Phil. Flapteasy gone as well. Super Marco bursted by the MVP. Phil got caught, has the Crimson Beacon. Sanford runs after him. Lantern Flare is there, but Phil and Carlteasy are left.
Oh, anime fight. Carlteasy backing out. He knows the massive losses across the board. 3 down for free. Liquid find a clapback, but they still have to deal with the Lord.
And those clapbacks just come in too fast. Like, be it Team Falcons, be it Team Liquid Philippines, the moment you make even just the slightest mistake, or if you take a bit more longer than you should, then you could expect the immediate responses already coming in. If we would look at that instant replay earlier, Team Falcons, they just wanted to take down this mid-tier too, but Carlteasy holding that brush alongside every single member of Team Liquid Philippines calling for an engage. They just knew they had the advantage and they took out so many members of Team Falcons.
Call it punitive action. Falcons did steal a few kills, did steal away the Lord when Liquid was up by 4K. Who saw that coming? No one saw that coming, save for Falcons.
Ogwin rather saw that coming because he did this yesterday with this specific hero, the Badang. If you give Ogwin the flicker and the fist break, fist crack, things could change for Team Falcon, and they don't lack the damage to burst down any of the members of TLPH. But again, if they stay too long, TLPH, they win the extended fights.
Yeah, and it's looking a bit more better for Team Liquid Philippines right now, since OHEB already picked up the Wind of Nature as well. They only have to be extra careful in terms of positioning, but so long as Sanford is able to provide the necessary information, unlike earlier where it feels like no one was watching the mid, no one was keeping an eye on the mid brushes, then it'll be more difficult for Ogwin to play around with the angles or the potential setups later on.
In that last Lord fight, Falcons seem to have understand how TLPH were playing more like a herd, clumped up. Now it's Liquid's turn to evolve once again, mid-series. How can they change up their tactics, their formations, their movement, so they don't get punished as hard by the Master? Item check here. So far, Marco is catching up to OHEB, but I'm thinking stacks-wise. I'm thinking like just pure raw damage and lethality. OHEB still trumps the bulletproof.
Yep. I think he got shut down in the middle of his 6 kills, so that's not the full 60 stack that you would expect from a Sky Piercer. But again, in terms of survivability, both gold laners have their Wind of Natures ready, so you can keep an eye out of that if ever Owen manages to catch OHEB or even JP and Sanji. But now they're trying to go for Sanford. The COPH starts things off with this Lord.
All right, half health. The dance has begun. Approaching the point of no return.
We're still waiting for Carlteasy. He dashes in, but OHEB gets the Lord. In exchange for JP, he pops his Revitalize, might even be able to walk away as Sanford preventing Ogwin from a setup and disrupting the feathered airstrike of Sanji. And now OHEB chasing after Flapteasy. The daddy has been saved, but Ogwin jumps in as well. Sanford from the back might be able to cast that ultimate. Carlteasy jumps in, Tempest of Blades here and out, and Carlteasy enters in with the Wiki Shadow Kill, but they share out the damage. One more hit on a JP and no casualties for the Cavalry.
They'll have to defend. Team Falcons has to defend, but we're chasing for Sanford. Will Super Marco get the kill? And he does!
The bulletproof, again in the nick of time, was able to get Sanford. And with that kill, TLPH won't be able to use this Lord.
Fade away, ricochet shot by the bulletproof, keeping Falcons in the game.
Falcon
A
rapi
few
guys.
punished
Tapi kata
movements
menang
from
atau
Liquid.
kalah.
Again, in the heat of battle, you're going to want to get what you can. You're going to want to snowball and punish your opponents when they overextend. Carlteasy committed Tempest of Blades to take down what was that? Ogwin or Flapteasy? Someone who you shouldn't use your ult on.
Ogwin, I think it was Ogwin.
Yep, and honestly, that entire decision from Team Liquid Philippines to just burst down the objective, it normally would be dangerous with very limited information. But it was so fortunate that Team Falcons, they were actually really taking their time. Owen had to come in from the other side of the right mid bush, but even for Kyle, he wasn't ready to contest just yet. Speaking of Kyle!
Oh, fortunately for Kyle, he was able to shadow out. Now commits the weak shadow kill to Sandy!
Wish.
And Master Ogwin
Whoa.
with a beautiful setup. Kyle CZ is going to fall down though. Ogwin immortality pop. Now they're trying to go for more and double kill. Coming in from Owen. He wants to make it 3. Flap TZ caught in a mix. Carl TZ jumps in as well. One more hit on Flap TZ. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade.
Massive for Liquid here. They could have definitely lost more. And Kyle TZ, ever the artist
Aku
on the
bilang kenapa sih
assassins,
Falcon
went
rapih
in,
mainnya, tapi
isolated Sanji,
towernya
went
mungkin
for the
bakal cepat
shadow kill,
hancur.
but only found one.
And how lucky or how fortunate is it for TLPH that OHAB wasn't part of the setup. So they had the damage. They had ways to answer back, even though Master Ogwin went in and nearly got that perfect setup.
Kill one didn't even have a flicker. You're right, Brigida. He was fortunate. He was blessed. They were more than lucky. There was someone out there looking out for Kill one saying, please don't kill him. Please don't kill him. 61 stacks.
Yeah, and that's because, again, with the kit of his hero, he has unlimited reach, especially towards the 17-minute mark now. So he doesn't need to be in close combat to dish out the damage up against Team Falcons.
Sonata and Sonata and Sonata.
Kayaknya sih menang TLP.
Even the Rhapsody was more than enough. Oh.
Slowly but surely, Falcons can position themselves again into a point where they'll force TLPH to respond, but it's Liquid who's being proactive right now. Lord Dance began. Sanford gets caught up.
Good grab on Flap TZ onto Sanford, but now JP getting caught in a mix. Ogwin waiting for a perfect opportunity to strike. He doesn't know where he is. JP pops his revitalize already. Got caught by the Lantern Flare. One member down for TLPH. Ogwin commits the ultimate onto Sanford, paired up with Fuse Lantern Flare. Super Marco finishes the job as they bring down 2.
That's free. 2 for free. I don't think Liquid should take this fight.
Now Kyle TZ, okay, there was a Winter Crown play coming in from Sanji. OHIP delivering the Rhapsodies though. Super Marco from the back, he spots OHIP with the major battle between the 2 gold lasers. He
King
pops
Spree.
Sanji as well, and the chase is on. Open slap onto Kyle. OHIP immortality pop, and VU delivers the final blow
That
to
was
the
a 2
MVP.
for 1, and Carl TZ going 2 for 1, 3v1. That was disastrous for Liquid.
It was very disastrous. Imagine not being able to anticipate in advance whatever setups Team Falcons were going for, but it wasn't really the setups, honestly.
Real time win
it was the way
rate-nya
Team Liquid
itu
Philippines
PLHP,
decided to
guys.
take their time again, attacking the front lines. But what they don't know is that Super Marco's already online. He has a full build on the Clint.
JP doing his best to delay and give enough information for TLPH.
Oh!
Lantern Flare is there. He escapes. Oh, Gwen with the combo. Forced out the Templates of Blade. Is this enough damage? Call TZ fights Super Marco. A killing spree for the young goat as Sanford tanking up the damage. And now the tides have shifted again to TLPH.
And from out of nowhere, it becomes a 3v3 again. A 4v3, a 5v3. Liquid has failed to take the Lord, but recovered well enough to push back Falcons from stealing it.
And it felt like Carl TZ immediately knew they had to find a way to deal with Super Marco. And he was the only guy they took out from Team Falcons. JP, this time around, it was a much more rewarding of him to sustain all that damage.
And he was the guy that Falcons needed to take that Lord. That's why Liquid got it for free. Falcons hesitated.
This is the result of numerous tournaments, numerous grand finals, numerous crucial matches between these 2 teams. Despite not having enough information, they rely on the tendencies that they found out about each other. That's why this game is long. It's approaching the 20-minute mark, and it's still a close fight.
For the past 400 days, these 2 in some version of these lineups have gone all around the world and played world-class MLBB. And today, they prove that they can keep going. They can keep changing the game. A forced retreat for Kyle and Ogwin. Watch out for Ogwin. It's the master really who changes the tide of these fights.
Is the damage going to be enough, though? Even if
Ooh,
Owen
ooh,
manages
ooh, ooh, ooh.
play coming in from Sanji there, but FlapTazy flickers in to bring down Sanji. And now they pick up Sanford, force out a lot of flickers. Lord was able to burst down the inhibitor in the middle lane as Spew and FlapTazy working on CLPH. One member down for the Cavalry.
Rigano was not wise. They spent so much just to take down Sanji. They didn't even protect that mid lane.
Yeah, they lost the mid lane turret. However, they were able to deny that Lord Siege. Team Liquid Philippines could have definitely went for if ever they still had all their members and all their resources complete. And now this allows for a little more breathing room for Team Falcons, but they definitely should be the ones to find the team fights, to find the more favorable fights later on.
Ooh, may I say, the fact that no flicker, save for FlapTazy, was spent in that takedown, in that defense in mid. So maybe, just maybe, Falcons are setting something up.
Unfortunately for them also, fortunately for them, it was the mid lane inhibitor turret that got taken down. So CarlTZ's potential split pushes can be managed by Team Falcons.
Yep. Now we're already approaching that point in the game.
It's the fourth Lord, by the way.
Yeah, where everyone is just full builds, where everything doesn't matter anymore, where it's ultimately execution once again, and the constant adapting you do in game. That feels like both of these teams, as time progresses, as time goes by, they just constantly know how to attack one another, and the seesaw battle is just too real.
Amazing map control by Team Falcons. Despite losing out on their mid lane, getting penetrated there, inhibitor taken down, they still managed to make the map go blue. And this is in front of a Hilda, in front of a Ling, in front of a Pharsa. How do they do that?
Every single time we think that Team Liquid Philippines have already taken control, even of the upcoming objectives, even of the setup.
Oh!
Team Falcons just find a way.
Ooh.
FlapTazy, guilty. A charge of Grand Theft Purple. How?
That's revenge for CarlTZ taking away their turtle early on in this game. And now no purple buff for CarlTZ in the potentially last Lord Dance that we'll see for game number 2.
That's lethal. Going into a fight without a purple for a Ling this late into the game with these high stakes involved, CarlTZ won't. Let's just say they can't fight.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is gonna be a very difficult decision for Team Liquid Philippines. And there's the conceal already coming in from Ogwen. They're already positioning themselves, and they might find Oheb!
Oheb walks in! Camera switch!
Catches Oheb, pops his immortality. CarlTZ makes sure to deliver the final kill. A sacrificial play for Ogwen there to keep TLPH at bay. Immortality pop. Sanford leading the charge. Sanji delivers the final kill. JP immortality pop. Sanford caught in a mix once again. Few continuing with the Lantern Flare. Might be able to pick up Sanford, but a Winter Crown play is there. Super Marco with a grenade bombardment. But Sanji answers back with a feathered airstrike to shut down the bulletproof.
Wow.
A clutch winter play from Few and Sanji. The call from the back. The young goat making plays for TLPH.
Old allies, CarlTZ and FlapTazy meeting on the battlefield. FlapTazy running away, retribution spent by Carl, popping the immortality.
And surrounded by 2, no escape for Flap and CarlTZ. Now in the picture, he's all alone. TLPH has 3.
An emotional roller coaster in the span of a minute.
Oh,
They caught Oheb, but now they're staring down the barrel of a pushing mid.
No need for the Lord. Minions onto the middle lane. CarlTZ against his idol. Uigi Shadow Kill already casted. Might be able to clear it out, and he bought enough time.
insane! A few minutes back, a few seconds back, the buy and sells, the decisions to stay in this game. And now they're trying to burst the Lord, but Ogwen and Kyle, they're still within the area.
Falcon kayak mati kutu deh.
Master! Ogwen! The clutches Lordsdale! In his entire career! We witness it here!
The capacity crowd in the Champions Arena erupts. Cavalry, Falcons, Nest, everyone in between just losing their collective minds. How?
And I was just saying, fortunately, Kyle is far. Fortunately, there's no way he could catch up, but it was Ogwen all along who could get the job done.
Mentally speaking, You have to recover. You can't let yourself be haunted by the fact
You
that
can't.
a roamer stole away your lord. This is an evolved lord. And now they have to defend. Carl Easy going to the flank, just cutting that wave in mid.
Oh, they're going to need every bit of Carl Teasy here as the Lord approaches up top. Clears the inhibitor. Fluff Teasy jumps in. Sanji, but got interrupted by Carl Teasy. Oh, with disrupting TOPH. Carl Teasy wanted to go for more. Super Marco pops his wind of nature. He still has his immortality. Only JP got lost, and they were able to clear out the Lord.
A great defense shown to us by Team Liquid Philippines. For now, they're able to deny and delay Team Falcons and their attempts. But there are
Team
still
Falcon
waves
menyerang,
coming in from the sides that they
Tadi
successfully are
keserang
able
balik
to
tuh.
deal with. It is
LPH.
just so good that they're able to maximize the Ling at this point, because if not, it would have been terrible for Team Liquid.
Oh. Minions sieging in onto the bottom lane.
Wajir.
Everyone entering with their ultimates. Flap Teasy with his spread. Carl Teasy was able to pop a lot of immortalities. Sanji able to dish out the feathered airstrike. A lot of resources expended on Team Falcon's side.
Oh, they've accepted the fact that Flapteasy went in too deep. Better lose one than two or three. Marco and
Seru
Few
ini.
were at the brink of death. Falcons survived. They could have been punished so much harder, but Liquid, I wonder what their thoughts are on this next Lord spawning in 20.
You know, this is the first time in this playoffs I actually saw a death timer in 70 seconds. That's how long our game is right now. As we approach this 27-minute mark, 10 seconds, Lord will spawn. And Team Falcons, they need Flap Teasy for this potential fight.
I think the longest we've ever seen was in day one. But wait!
Sanji picks off Marco!
The Lone Stallion made an amazing solo play to pick off the man regarded as the bulletproof as TOPH takes away the last potential Lord.
How did Sanji get into that position? But all the more, how was Super Marco so far away from the others?
That play.
Seru
It's a
ini
shame we did not
saling
see it
balas
as it
serangan guys.
happened.
Gila.
That play by Sanji made that catch by JP on Oheb earlier in the purple side buff of Liquids look like child's play. How did he single-handedly kill Marco?
Again, we're gonna go down to they know each other's tendencies. That wasn't enough information
He was right
for
there
Sanji.
in front of the orange buff.
Exactly. The culmination of long fights, long clashes of these two teams might come to an end today. Lord sieging and into the middle lane.
Yeah.
Can Falcon defend without Marco? Kyle Teasy jumps in with a shadow kill. Flap Teasy immortality pop. Lord still there. Flap Teasy gone. Ogwin desperate attempt to pop the winner crown. Another winter crown from Sanford. All 5 members of the cavalry still alive. They might be able to clear it out. But Carl Teasy goes from the back with a Templars ablaze. And now they set their eyes on the turret. On the
Wish.
tower. TOPH wins this game.
PLPH menang guys.
Are you not entertained? World-class MLBB coming your way from the Titans of MLBB. Liquid 2-0.
A nearly 30-minute game before Team Liquid Philippines was able to get it. But my, oh my, what a series we're having right now.
Falcons seem to struggle in the clutch moments. Redmar Rockhart, what's going wrong for them?
I mean, 30 minutes of a roller coaster. Redmar can barely breathe.
What the hell, man? Yo, one of these two teams are going to the grand finals and are going to MSC.
Yeah.
That was just insane. The Sandman does it again. Putting Falcons to sleep. It hurts to say as a Falcons guy, but you gotta appreciate damn good MLBB when damn good MLBB is staring you dead in the eye.
That's right. He was so good that the camera can't really catch a few of these kills.
I'm losing my mind.
I'm pretty sure Sanji's going to be MVP there again.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Well deserved, indeed.
Game 1, that's no ye. Game 2, it could have been anyone from Liquid. It could have been Carl. But that pickoff onto Marco, eyes closed, the cold-blooded, eyes-closed killer does it again.
Yeah, and with style, by the way. He has been doing it head-to-head with the glue in his face, with everyone just jumping on him, with Ogwen's Badang just so good in positioning and catching him, he's still able to actually get out and give a good turn for TL.
My goodness. And as the game went on, I don't know if I should still agree with past me saying that Team Liquid Philippines definitely won the draft, but I think the better way to put it is Team Liquid Philippines definitely had a draft that made Super Marco work his absolute behind off in this game.
Yes.
He had to do so much. Kyle Teasy had to do so much to try and access the back line when he could. Ogwen as well, who, by the way, could have gotten the stop of the century plus that Lord that he miraculously stole. If Oheb wasn't just so fast with pressing the flicker away when Team Liquid Philippines eventually won the game. Oheb was able to avoid the entry by Ogwen, but definitely, let's go back to the performance of Sanji here. It's his play in this Farsa, his bravery to try and access the backline and be incredibly aggressive with helping Team Liquid by setting up kill angles. Another great MVP performance.
Yeah, he's been blowing people up from minute 7. You can really feel his explosiveness and Oheb with his willingness to flicker forward as a Granger as well, just to make sure that these kills are going to register at the very end. Despite the very good sets that Falcon has been doing, despite the really good intro of Flaptisi to the back line, it sometimes feels like it's just not quite enough yet. The members from TLPH are able to get out with a sliver of health time and time again, just so they can make sure they can get ready for the next objective.
Yeah, honestly, for TLPH, they just played so much better.
Yeah, it's so good right there. Even these miniature Lord Seals, this game boiled down to just really, really good micro. Actually, you might see it here. They were fighting their butts off in this jungle with so many times that you were buying and selling immortalities and winter treasures, and they're able to really get to a point where Sanji had to micro with his life in front of 2 members of Falcons.
That was an absolutely insane juggle with the Winter Crown. Again, Ogwen miraculously being able to steal the Lord away. Carl Teasy was there. He did press a Retribution. Sanji locking in. Feathered Airstrike canceled quickly. Purified just in time to get away. And of course, Flaptisi latched onto him. Here,
Guys, subscribe
Ogwen
dulu
back.
guys. Subscribe
Ogwen
dulu.
with the flicker. Sanji with the Winter Crown. Clutched by the backliners of Team Liquid.
For a majority of these games, it feels like Sanji was the bait, and Oheb was like, all right, clean this up, bro. Clean this up. And that synergy just makes it so scary for TLPH. For Falcons to actually make any big plays happen without expecting some really good collateral damage.
Yeah, eventually this became a game of the little things, the small decisions that you make in the middle of team fights. Team Liquid Philippines deciding whether or not to conserve some certain abilities or to use it right away for instant gratification. Same thing goes for Falcons. It just became a trade of who got to execute better. There's so many times all throughout all the fights that you saw that an early wind and nature proc by either of these 2 marksmen could be the difference between life or death. The fact that Falcons would have to overcommit early on just to try and reach Oheb, whereas compared to Team Liquid Philippines, Carl Teasy can easily just swoop in and find Marco, and Carl Teasy played this game like a bird of prey. He played this game like a falcon, waiting for the perfect time to entry. But then we also saw moments where Carl Teasy said, man, let me just do this myself. Goes in, jumps to the back, pops a shadow kill, forces reactions out of Sanji and Oheb, forces reactions out of TLPH. It was a back and forth of excellence between the two teams.
Exactly. And Carl Teasy played this lane to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a really big bridge from early to mid here for TLPH, waiting for Oheb to get ready. I mean, Sanji's already doing it, but you know what? Sanji couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah.
Carl Teasy was really on point as well here, allowing the rest of Falcons to, he was basically the walking red target if Sanji wasn't present.
And one of the reasons why this game got extended for so long is because Team Liquid Philippines also responded very well to when Flaptisi would be able to get the grab onto someone. They delay the damage, and Falcons would be, it's sort of like whoever Flap grabbed, that was like the center point of the of the Mexican standoff.
Right.
It's like, all right, Team Liquid Philippines is waiting for their time. Carl Tizzy waiting in the wings, and then eventually it's just who got to deal damage at the right time, who entered at the better time, who dashed at the better time. PPI rich guy, it's Carl.
That's right. Now, we mentioned earlier how he executed this Ling. He is one of the standards for playing Ling right now. If you're thinking about how many people played the Ling in the playoffs, right? I mean, Carl TZ probably played it best so far. Now we're gonna go in back into it. Whew. That's beautiful.
All right. So let's try to discuss, find some ways to break this down a little bit deeper here. I am at a loss for words in terms of how to break this down with everything that we have because of the very brawly-centric way this game was played. But it wasn't brawl for the sake of brawl. It was just that's what it called for. Certain fights at certain times getting forced out. Look how insanely close this game was. Looking at the timers, even Team Liquid Philippines got the turtles in the game. We didn't get a lot of turtles in this one, but they were able to get the ones that mattered early on. And then it just became a trade of towers. This means these two were just so locked in with playing around the objectives. And yes, they were playing around the objectives despite there being so many fights in this game. All of those occurred in the timings around major objectives. And that isn't just turtles, that isn't just lords. Remember, when it comes to the junglers that are dependent on the purple buff, those
Get arena. Yes, iniimbitahan namin kayo.
It's still an option if ever Carl TZ wants to go that route, especially as they banned out the Ling already here for Team Falcons. Unless they're giving us the Lancelot in this game.
yeah, come on, give us a Lance, Carl Lance game, please. But Falcons has to ban either the Gacha, Lucas.
Yeah.
Maybe they're willing to play against the
Gatot Kacha,
Lancelot,
yeah.
maybe, but there's a lot of major picks right now that Falcons need to deal with first.
Yeah, so far it does feel like the Lancelot might be a possible last pick. Either way. So we're still looking for a possible XP laner as well for TLPH. Lucas is still available.
Oh.
And that would be a pretty nasty combo. Possibly on the docket here for Falcons if they want to ban it out.
Yeah, and they ban out the Phoveus too. So would that tell anything about Team Liquid Philippines and their possible options later on? But again, Team Falcons, what are they more willing to play against? Is it the additional layer of CC that the Gatot Kacha can offer? Especially it'll make things harder for few.
Yeah.
Or is it the Lucas that'll just make this mid-range lineup so
Asli
far
karakter
Team Liquid
Indonesia
Philippines
itu
a
ya.
lot more better? And it seems
Gatot
like they'll
Kacha.
be more willing to let go of the Gatot Kacha.
Okay. Gatot Kacha for JP. Potentially the pick right now for Team Liquid Philippines. They're... I'm leaning towards... Oh, no. Even better. This was in the back of my head, but I didn't think they'd want to go for a pick-off style. But they're okay with it. This empowers the Granger and the Badang really well, and I think that means we're getting an assassin for Carl.
Yeah.
For sure.
And imagine how difficult it is going to be to move with this lineup of Team Liquid Philippines so far. There's a Jawhead Badang, there's the Jushin,
Yeah.
who's kind of like a tankier mage.
And you
Yeah.
can imagine the alley-oop that's going to happen here
Yeah.
with Sushi and the Joy.
This needs to be a Glue and a Moskov, maybe.
There it
There's
is.
a Moskov. Falcons, yeah, I think they have to get the Glue here.
Yeah, something that's going to survive through the Madame when you get caught out. There it is, right on the arrangement as well.
Yeah.
So is it going to be? Is it going to be?
Come on.
Come on! No!
No. Oh. I hate you, Sasuke.
You and the rest of the world.
Come on, man.
I mean, this was the common duo, right? The
Yeah.
Suyo Jawhead and all that.
Yeah, Brigada, I appreciate you being the voice of reason so much. I will be the voice of, I wish we got Lance Carl.
I wish everyone does, right?
Yeah, but yes, Suyo, Jawhead together. Team Liquid going a little bit more standard here. Although the Jawhead is a little bit of a swerve of surprise, but Liquid Stampede can definitely come online here.
Yeah.
While Falcons, they'll have to play this a little bit more counter-punchy. They might not be able to fight well up until past the 8th minute.
It's like regular season vibes for me for TLPH. Even
yes.
the picks are very regular season, and they're going what they know here.
Yep. This is a comfort for JP, by the way, in case y'all forgot. So
right.
let's see how they set the tempo later on.
Let's see how they play with comfort here in the Lanzon for game number 3 of Falcons NTL.
Comfort is out of the question. You gotta do what you gotta do to get into the game. And Falcons have yet to score. Welcome to game number 3. 1 win away from match point. The cavalry sits. My name is Leo, here with Ingan and Brigida. You heard her dulcet tones during the draft. Ingan, how do you feel about this? Were you also looking for that Lancelot?
I was looking, of course, for the Lancelot of Carl Tizzi, but again, if Suyo is a better pick for them, then why not? And I do agree actually with Renmar in terms of their picks in the draft. Team Falcons sort of reactive, and this could also translate in their gameplay, especially if TLPH is on the driver's seat.
A lot of pressure here on the Filipino sniper down bottom. JP covering his behind. Brigida, Suyo came out here for Carl Tizzi instead of the Lancelot. I'm going to drill down on that. How do you feel about it going into the Farsa?
It's the first time we're seeing Carl Tizzi on the Suyo again after quite some time, and honestly, it feels like one of the more comfortable picks for Carl Tizzi, especially considering the hero pool that he's been showing us recently. But I'm a bit concerned about how he's gonna position himself well enough in front of a Baksha and a Glue. So if you're asking about the Farsa and his capabilities to reach this hero, then they'll probably have to rely on someone else, and then just him following up with the damage.
I hate how it's not even reaching the Farsa. That's the problem. It's going through the possible bodyguards. Here he is, looking for a target in Marco. Understands that it's not quite the best target to go for just yet. The backup hasn't followed through. First turtle spawning in the upper quarter, and it looks like Falcons is there first.
Yeah, you know, prior to the matchup of Onyx, their last series, Suyo has a really, really bad record in the playoffs. So let's see if, alongside King Kong, Carl Tizzi can turn the tides for this hero.
All right, turtle started up by JP and Carl Tizzi. Ogun checking range. JP going man-to-man defense. 1/4, 1/5.
Let's see if Kyle Tizzi will be able to reach it, as Carl will still secure the turtle. But there's the clapback from Falcons, gonna bring down Carl Tizzi. They went in even as Kyle Tizzi goes in with a weak shadow kill to bring down JP.
Yep, great decision from Team Falcons. They decided to go in for the fight, and knowing that there can be additional damage from Super Marco since the SOD did connect, they willingly took that fight despite everything that we've mentioned regarding the draft, despite the timings. So this is a clear advantage that Team Falcons has already acquired.
Big win for the Big Birds. Get more with BPI. 1250 diamonds on the line in case you register, you join Vibe. It's a chance to take home some goodies in case you haven't gotten the skins just yet. Ogun checking range. That's a feathered airstrike by few. And again, these are the ugly problems that TLPH have to face. It's going through these frontliners.
You know, similar to what Team Falcons pulled off in game number 2, especially towards the early to the mid game, is the pressure on the mid lane. Again, they don't want Sanji to be as comfortable as possible to eventually scale up with the Zushin, because eventually if Zushin left unchecked, it could spell disaster for Team Falcons.
Yeah, and Ogun's doing a great job in checking everyone though.
Oh, Spear of Destruction also connects on to Carl Tizzi as they bring him down. Next target might be JP here. Kyle Tizzi racking up a lot of kills so far early game.
That's double dead. Carl Tizzi, even if he could have gotten away, had 2 major cores on him.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the early game burst damage too that we're seeing so far from Team Falcons. Team Liquid Philippines, it feels like they have to build up on that damage, and now they have to chase after what Team Falcons has already established in terms of the lead. This is a Hayabusa on a 3-0, 4 minutes into the game, so you know that they're just going to be very confident in terms of taking the fights.
You're worried about Kyle. I'm worried about Super Marco. He's making mucho dinero. He's been left down bottom, and he can join fights anytime.
Sanford goes in with a beautiful combo there to stun out Few. Few is going to fall down, feeds a kill off to Sanji, but Flap Tizzi enters the picture as well. Carl Tizzi got dropped there by Kyle Tizzi. The weak shadow kill still continuing on. JP caught in the crossfire there as they're trying to save it, and SOT! Super Marco lacks the damage, but that was more than enough pressure to apply onto TLPH.
Odd placement by Marco here, forcing Sanji to go ahead, flicker forward, catches him with a choke.
Oh, Super Marco getting choked down, was able to dash out, but Lantern Flare caught him as Kyle Teasy gets the turtle.
In exchange for the turtle and potentially the purple buff, they're still gonna go for it, but JP saves it long enough. We saw the Sansan duo in action earlier, going for that pickoff, but what they failed to take into account were the other members of Team Liquid Philippines left behind. Things aren't looking too good for Carl Teasy now on a 0-3.
We did mention how difficult it might be for a Suyo to do much in this game, but I didn't expect him to go 0-3, 5 minutes in. Looking at the items, the sheer definition of chop suey. Carl Teasy struggling.
Is there's so much that has to be done for them to come back in this game, especially with how Flapteasy is just able to make his presence be felt.
Kyle Teasy again enters and catches Oheb. It wasn't enough for TLPH to share the damage, immediately got bursted down.
How would you respond to that? It came from out of nowhere. It didn't look like a real fight was going to break out. They just really wanted Oheb.
And it feels like they've completely shut down whatever threat this pickoff-centric lineup, or at least in the early game, could deliver. JP is struggling to find the targets, and who can he rely on for the damage if they're this much behind?
I'll do you one better. 6 minutes elapsed. Not a single ejector that led to a good play.
Yeah, not even a defensive one, you might say. You've been saying this all season 14. Oh, wait a minute. Sanford spots out Kyle Teasy, even goes in once again. The fist bump was there to stun out Kyle Teasy and brought enough space for Oheb to take down the turret down bottom.
Okay.
Wait, there's one.
Here's the ejector, but is that the right target? Oak went quite tanky. Now Kyle Teasy jumps in once again, paired up with Flapteasy. They're able to burst out the MVP again. 0-2-0 start for Oheb, and now Flapteasy switches on to Sanji. Beautiful combo there from Sanford, but Kyle Teasy, though, one more hit away, and he's gonna get taken down. Super Marco SOD! Sanji was able to escape, but not for long, as Super Marco dishing out the damage. JP falls.
It's gone sideways for the Cavalry.
Falcon.
As Falcons continue to bear down on him. Super Marco never misses. What is that, 100% on the SOD right now?
Man, if you're gonna count yesterday's series, that's still 100% from Super Marco with his Moscow 3-1-2 start.
Yep, Team Liquid Philippines, they're clearly struggling in terms of how they're able to layer their skills, in terms of how they're able to carry out a sequence that's favorable for them. Whether it be on Sanford trying to anticipate Kyle Teasy earlier in that lower bush, they were unsuccessful in doing so, and now here's another team fight.
Here's the spread from
Kakasinyamanan,
Kyle Teasy
kakasinyamanan.
jumps in. But wait a minute, he's gonna enter again. SOD is gonna connect the first man down here. Still no one as JP falls down. Carl Teasy might be next, one more hit away. But TLPH trying to counter out as he brings down Ogwen. Sanji enters the picture for the Crimson Beacon and Lantern Flare. But Super Marco with Spear of Misery to track him down. Kyle Teasy enters the picture again. Sanji got caught in Crossfire. Flap Teasy might be able to bring him down, and 2 members down for Liquid.
And they're still going. 40. Got Flap on him. Can they continue?
Oh, Flapteasy still holding on to Sanford, and now he latches off, and the clash will end here.
To think that we saw probably one of the cleanest games from Team Liquid Philippines earlier. Now it feels like Falcons, it wasn't too reactive of them after all.
Oh, JP with the unstoppable force. On to Kyle. Ogwen to the rescue.
Now Ogwen with a stun. Sanford with a beautiful combo. Is the damage there though? Uigi Shadow Kill was casted right on time to help Super Marco with the SOD. And now he's giving out the damage onto JP. JP has to back off. OF desperately trying to dish out the Death Sonatas, but the damage is still not there for TLPH.
And still, Marco never misses. Maybe we should start calling him the Philip. What were you going to say? In season 14, I kept saying...
You kept saying that you don't want the Jawhead to be, at the ending or had a bad start because it's going to be hard for them.
Or to be on the defense.
On the defense,
and
yeah.
that's exactly where Liquid is. Despite it being just 8,000 gold lead. Bring it up. Can Liquid come back from this way? What's that angle looking like?
It's gonna be hard since you have to pay attention to so many heroes of Team Falcons right now. Kyle Teasy, Few, and Super Marco, they're all online. And it's very unlikely that we'll see at least one of them separated long enough that Team Liquid Philippines could take advantage of that. They're just too fast in terms of the responses. And just when we thought it was just pure reactions being forced out of Team Falcons, it wasn't after all.
And not to mention, you have two tanky frontliners also for the side of Team Falcons who have yet to die. Here comes the ejector play that can turn the tides around, but Team Falcons still being able to dish out the damage. Again, Kyle TG jumps in, and Super Marco as well with SOD gonna bring down Sanji. 3 fallen, make it 4. Super Marco wants to chase after Sanford in a double for Super Makmak.
4 down. Not a single clap back from Liquid. Ballooning up to 5,000 gold plus a Lord. Falcons are here.
And I'm not so sure about that call. Taking on Flapteasy, knowing fully well that the other members of Team Falcons are just within the area and that they won't have enough burst damage just yet. Close call for Oheb as well. But that's aside the fact that Super Marco also came in. Few was just free to throw out the feathered airstrike. And now Team Liquid Philippines are clearly on the defense.
Right now, you don't want TOPH to be on the defense. So far, they're having a hard time initiating anything against Team Falcons. Even Team Falcons jumps in once again. Wiki shadow kill from the back, paired up with the feathered airstrike from Few. All the while, Super Marco just working on the turret, delivering the damage. Gonna bring down JP. One member down. Oh, it's still quite tanky as TOPH takes care of the Lord.
You see the damage coming from Super Marco. And now that we're about to look at his items, this pretty much explains why he's almost 2k ahead of Oheb.
Another jump in from Flapteasy. Sanford got caught there. SOD casted right on time as Team Falcons focuses on the top lane.
Whether it be from lane to lane, whether it be across the map or literally point blank right in front of you, Marco never misses the SOD. And they're continuing to apply pressure. Top lane up next. Shadow kill!
Oh my goodness! Kyle Teasy went after Sanji once again. 2 members down for TOPH. TOPH's Team Falcons also gets the inhibitor up top.
The bloodthirsty Blade just does not let up. They're approaching 10K!
Yeah, it's already an 8.1k gold lead. And Few just got his hands on that Divine Glaive. So imagine if it's away.
Oh, a throw onto Super Marco. They catch him, but a quick response from Team Falcons. Super Marco stays alive. The Bulletproof still here. Kyle Teasy delivered the weak shadow kill to bring down JP. Sanford is gone as well. Flapteasy working on Oheb, and they take down Carl Teasy. A double for Marco.
He missed, but he never misses. A forward flicker to take down the young goat. Look, folks, he did not rock Purify. He survived that engagement with a flicker.
And he had the wind of nature too. So he was able to survive the damage from TLBH.
There's an engage. Kyle Teasy again jumps in with Shadow as they take down Inhibitor in the middle lane. But TOPH fortunately will be able to clear out the minions.
A bare base, an open field for the Stallions to think about what went wrong. Ingan, you said, at this point in the game, Liquid does not want to be on the back foot. They don't want to be in the defense. I'll tell you now, at minute 1, they didn't want that. The game started. As soon as they began the draft, they did not want that. As soon as they locked in that jawhead.
It's hard. I mean, you saw JP, all his ejectors are defensive, are reactive. And in the rare cases that he wants to be proactive, it's Flapteasy or Ogwen that he manages to throw.
Conceal play already committed by Team Liquid Philippines, but there's an answer from Team Falcons.
Here comes Ogwen with the Shield Unity, keeping TOPH at bay because there's a major objective up for grabs. Lord is up.
Now that they've already used up the conceal, they'll have to find other ways to go around this, but it's gonna be very difficult, especially for Carl Teasy. He's still pretty much behind, although they already might want to take this on.
Ogwen from the back, and they latch on to JP. A mega kill coming in from Flapteasy. 1 member down. Team Falcons, do they go for the extra engage? Few chasing after the members of TOPH. Cast the feathered airstrike. Marco with the SOD again as Kyle Teasy gets the Lord, but he shut him down. Is this enough time for TOPH? Because their base, there are minions for Team Falcons, and TOPH will clear it out.
A slight miscalculation by Falcons. They thought they could go, but another chance at ending the game here. Oh, Sanford and Kyle Teasy. Kyle Teasy single-handedly pushing them out. Liquid lives another day.
Yeah, but JP's so heavily punished in this game. He can barely look for a setup for Team Liquid. There's almost no one within reach that he could toss towards the members of Team Liquid Philippines. Fortunately, they're able to buy enough time. We're already approaching 15 minutes. So Oheb definitely probably at least is lacking just one more item.
The trade onto Super Marco bought enough time for Team Liquid Philippines to take care of the Lord in the middle lane without any pressure for the side of Team Falcons. But it was all part of the plan of Team Falcons to go for a sacrificial play, secure the Lord. But fortunately for the Cavalry, they were able to get not just one, but two bodies of Team Falcons.
And a majority of that is held in weight by Marco. You take out Marco, you have half the problem solved. In comes Ogwin. Kyle TZ coming in, shadow kill!
Also, Wiggy's shadow kill to be able to keep TLPH at bay, but the clear of TLPH is just too much. OHIP being able to dish out the damage, and you can clearly see TLPH slowly scaling up.
What was that? Kyle TZ, we've seen him do this multiple times in this game, but that was the first time we saw it lead to really nothing.
I mean, they were prepared. Again, the threat of an ejector, and at the same time, Sanford being able to have his flicker, and the combo from the Badang can turn the tides for them. For sure, Ogwin knows that because he's been doing that with the Badang.
Yeah, but this is going to be tricky though. Team Falcons, Flap and Ogwin have already picked up their immortalities 15 minutes into this game. So they were already winning pretty much most of the fights that were taking place. But now they can afford to go a little more aggressive since they already have those items within their builds. But they also have to consider that, yes, Team Liquid Philippines, they are gradually scaling, and there will be definitely some opportunities for them, considering that the lead is slowly shrinking, now down to 5K in favor of Team Falcons.
Falcons is still in control, that much we know. The map is blue, Liquid, the amount of space that they can play with, very limited. I'm wondering, who is building anti-heal? Where is it right now? Because Flap, #1 on top of the charts in damage taken, and he's died a record 0 times. I think they have to deal with him first, and then maybe we can talk. Maybe we can find a comeback angle.
Yeah, but it does seem like Sanji is the one who tries to go for either Few or Super Marco. He puts himself out there. He actually tries to disrupt so much of the backlines, and that's a huge responsibility if you're Sanji. You want to do so many things at once, being the Jushin of this lineup.
So much weight on the shoulders of the lone stallion. Sometimes it always comes down to him to do the job. In game 2, he did just that, took down Marco alone, but now he needs help. OHIP and Carl DZ, not a single C halberd between them.
Yeah, and that help could start from JP or either Sanford. One could set up on the proper targets. It's been a disaster for Team Falcons, but this could be a potential play for the Cavalry. We saw in game #2, Sanji was able to solo kill Super Marco that set the tone for the game. Could they do it here again?
All right. 3 members of Liquid moving up, concealed by JP. They walk into him!
Few goes in with the defender airstrike, and they burst down Sanford immediately. Kyle TZ quite low here. He has to back off. They set their eyes onto JP. He still has his immortality as TLPH has to back off.
Was that an ambush or an unfortunate encounter?
It was something similar to what happened with Sanji and Marco in game #1. He just waited for the Curse of Crow and bursted everyone right in front of him. And Team Liquid Philippines definitely had to go back because they had to take into account Super Marco and the potential split. So with an exposed base, this is going to be a difficult defense.
That's painful. Now Liquid knows how it feels for them to walk into a random bush and get blasted.
They did it in game #2, and now Team Falcons again with the clapback. Lord is on their side, 5K gold lead. TLPH has 5 members to defend, but is this gonna be enough for the Cavalry?
All right, Lord marching up. Amazing synchronization by Falcons. 3 waves coming through, and the fight breaks out.
There's the ultimate Wiki Shadow kill and feathered airstrike. JP was able to throw out Ogwin, but there's the revitalize coming in from the Master. Flap TZ latches onto Sanford. Super Marco jumps in and locks on the base. And Team Falcons, finally a win.
In the clash of titans, you can't expect a sweep. Not like this. Falcons on the board, 2-1.
They've learned too much from what happened in the past 3 days of the playoffs. They definitely cannot let it end like this.
And they were dominant. Falcons, amazing work. Let's start the Red Marin Rock card to see exactly how Falcons did just that.
Marco, there's Super Marco. Oh, we're on. Hey.
Oh, there you go. So that was a bit of we were reenacting Super Marco just going ham in that one, and the Falcons are on the leaderboard, or scoreboard.
Okay, there was another reason as to why I was flipping out over Sasuke showing up instead of the Lancelot. There's magic damage on the side of Falcons. Farsa in the mid. You had the Baksha in the roam, and then the glue in the EXP lane. The main adjustment to Suyo was his removal of magic defense with his immortal form. And going up against a lineup that has a Farsa and a Baksha on the other side, it's tough for Suyo to shine. Hence why you saw Falcons take control of the game early on. Kyle Teasy went crazy on the Hayabusa. Carl Teasy went up against the monster that he made by winning a world championship. Kyle Teasy, 9-1 and 9. He was the guy in this game number 3.
That's right. This is the monster that was born out of Kyle Teasy's Teasy Blade.
Yeah.
And we are seeing it in action. Full stop here. He's giving so much. Actually, even at the very end, those Shadow Gifts were able to actually take down single targets
Oh, yeah.
on its own. So that just goes to show how ahead this Hayabusa was in terms of damage scaling. And when you scale that well, you are the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Aside from obviously Super Marco, who's just on the opposite side of the map, wreaking havoc to your towers.
Yeah, and again, let's go back to what I mentioned in the draft earlier when it came to Team Liquid Philippines. They were more proactive with the choices that they made, while Falcons looked like they were a little bit more reactive. However, sometimes the best offense is a good defense. The reactions Falcons had in the draft were better in the long run, and they played it in game. Although there was something that Brigida tried to foresee, where maybe what if Falcons will be reactive. No, they were very proactive in the game, while Team Liquid Philippines were the ones reacting to what Kyle Teasy was doing in the early to mid game, to the point where even when JP, he saw Kyle Teasy, he was like, I really want to get this dude down. Team Liquid Philippines were there to respond, but Kyle Teasy was just able to get away, and eventually that became not the right pick to try and go for.
It's really hard to blame TLPH as well for playing that way, because it was so hard for either JP or Sanford to make a pickoff happen, because in order to do that, you had to get close to the glue, you had to get close to basically a walking wheel, which is Ogwen, and you were going to get pushed off by either the Spear of Misery, right? It's so difficult.
Super Marco, excellent at this game. The fact that he was able to survive that with just a flicker out. And of course, Kyle Teasy, yet again, this is his highlight reel as well, being able to just find the back line. The only error I think that Falcons had in this game was when Super Marco decided to go in here, because this was where it started to feel like Team Liquid Philippines would have enough to turn the game around. But then that was it. Now, Falcons were sharp. Falcons held key objectives. It was Team Liquid Philippines desperately trying to find the unique angle to crawl back into this game and find a better position for themselves. But Falcons stuck to their fundamentals. Yes, they played defensive in the draft, but they played proactive in the game.
Yeah, you can feel the giggle from Falcons in this one, because I feel like Super Marco super locked in on what he needed to do. Again, almost each and every SOD actually hit.
Yes.
And it really had a high impact, except for that last one you pointed out. But everything else was just, oh wow. And you actually gave us a bit of a masterclass as well on how to really execute that Farsa very early on.
Yeah, and again, another thing to point out about the lineup of Falcons here, they have the Revitalize with them. There's no Revitalize on the side of Team Liquid Philippines, and that's why the early pickoffs that they tried to attempt just could not push through. There were members of Falcons who would just have enough health to survive and then keep fighting. And well, this is what this lineup is built for, fighting. Remember the last time we said where heroes that are stronger with continuous basic attack damage are very good against lineups that are tanky, slow front to back. Yes, Team Liquid Philippines are playing pick-off in a way, but when you have the Granger with you, you have a element of slow front to back with you. But Super Marco said, let me come from all angles with my SOD, being able to reach the back line when I need to.
That's right, you have the pick-off lineup, but everyone else in front was so hard to ejector. And the guy that you're supposed to ejector, you had to Purify, and Super Marco obviously is very far away from the fight, and the Hayabusa, good luck catching that one. So I get the problem that TLPH had here. Obviously, it was very difficult for them to actually make kills happen. That's why it's a 25-6 on the kill score, with Kyle Teasy as our BPI rich guy. Everything else, you did a majority of either making the damage happen before getting into the KP.
Yeah, definitely popping up here. The living legend in Few, showing why he is a living legend. Just when this team needed the most, you saw Falcons really understood that they cannot lose this game. They cannot be down 3-0 because it's going to be a titanic crawl to a turnaround. But they took over. They knew they needed to win this one.
Yeah, and of course, 824 GPM is no laughing matter. Like we said, that's the reason why he scaled so well. Like, one target in TLPH was equal to one shadow kill. Actually, one shadow kill was like 1.5. So that's how strong Kyle TC was at this point.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the minutiae of the game. Yes, this game was determined a lot by the moves of Kyle, TZ, going in with the shadow, committing the shadow kill, and the rest of Falcons just following up. Or the moves of Few, going in, being aggressive, utilizing the Curse of Crow, the stun right away, and then bringing down a Feathered Airstrike, so to set things up for Kyle, TZ, and the rest of the team. This was a game determined a lot by the kills that